Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Morcier. I thought I'd come and say hello, talk about this transcendental psychology. For what we need is to transcend the mind, to return to the unity of spirit, and that is a long process. It is we need to disconnect all kinds of past beliefs and past conditioning that we have been cultivating. I'm going to address many different subjects. I'm going to pull a few cards. First, is as a mirror. It is not about prediction or about. It's about looking at to bring to the forefront of consciousness situations that are already here, so that we can see it as a mirror. We can get the mirror of life to reflect us. The highest wisdom for the situation. Sorry, for us today is the communication. It's about being able to communicate our mind, our emotion, to be truthful, to be what around the situation is elevation. Our mind is being elevated. Our situation is being elevated mentally, physically, emotionally. What we see before us is a purification. The purification keeps going on. It is every day we need to peel out layers of this onion. In our subconscious, the past, the subconscious is love. So love, we know love, we discovered love. We have to be grateful that we found love. For love is a permanent sphere of reality. It's an eternal field of consciousness that is God. And we focus on this source, on this creator, no matter how we think of it or conceive of it, it is always there. Otherwise, nothing would exist. Where we are now is reconfort. It's about finding this reconforting to be able to comfort ourselves. We are able to find comfort. What's coming up next is doubt. For sometimes we feel very strong in our resolve, and sometimes the resolve leaves us. So we are faced with doubt. So what we need to do is reconcile with ourselves, reconcile with others. To find peace, to find forgiveness, to allow the reunion to happen. Our strength in the situation, who we are, is liberation. We are about to be liberated. We are liberated. We are free. What comes to us from the outside world is friendship. So it's wonderful. New friends will come to us. What we see on our inner emotion is unity. For we need to transcend the mind. The mind, as soon as we think light, the dark will come. As soon as we think dark, the light will come. For the mind will always be the physical in this dual state of being, where physical body is separated from the mind. The mind is the go-between between the physical and the spiritual. But and when the physical and the spiritual are aligned, there is no need for mind. It's just pure state of being. But there is a separation from paradise to the universe, and so the mind has to come into play. But the mind will always be, so we have the only way to transcend the mind is to turn to God, to turn to the great source. For God is a transcendental power that unified and knows how to do things. So it's about living in a constant communion with this creator source. And the outcome is potentiality. There is a potentiality for amazing realization, amazing freedom, amazing everything is potential. Everything is boiling with potentiality. The whole the cosmic soup is boiling. So we're really living in a very powerful time. I wanted to say that the old religions, the old organization of society, a lot of it do no longer work. There is this conjunction of the South Node and Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn that's just shaking up the whole structure. None of the old ways work, so we have to find new ways. And next year Jupiter is going to come into the mix. It's going to even add to that. So we are given opportunity to find new mode of functioning, to use philosophy. Philosophy is the love of wisdom, and some big aspect of philosophy is to find how do we work in society, what will make society work, where everybody will feel connected and feel purpose and meaning in life. So it's like a lot of people are left out of society in those systems of egos, collective ego. So we want to move back into the soul frequency, where we are guided by the heart each and every moment. So we find the solution each and every moment. We find the solution and only when we need it. There is no need to foresee anything. If we are given a vision of the future, it is part of what we integrate. But it's within each moment that we need to find what we need in the moment of now. Right now, the sun has been really anchored in the galactic sun, so we're receiving all kinds of codes, and so it's elevating, awakening our DNA. So we are being awakened. For we want to eventually live in this constant prayer, in this constant joy and gratitude for this experience of life. to upgrade our wheel of life, to upgrade, to move into to accept, to work with the divine rays, and eventually works with all 12 rays of creator light, so we can be a full creator. For this energy vortex, what we are an energy vortex where we send out energy and we receive energy. And it's actually unlimited. This divine energy is unlimited. So you want to build your vision. I wanted to speak about the clones. There is some clones there is a meaning to clone. The clones are not part of the ascension process. But there is certain meaning to the clonage. When we need an organ, we get better to clone from your own cells an organ to replace it than to get it from someone else, which could be rejected. But there are clones that have there are some people in this dark people from the dark side and the light side. The common people will not have access to that, and there is no need for that. But in the high sphere of power, there is what we call the Illuminatis, or the reptilian agenda, or the Black Alliance have been using clones. Some people, they do not believe in God and the soul, so when they get really old, they find a clone to continue their program. Sometimes we've seen politicians, they look really old, and then a week later they're poof, they gain 20 years younger, and they continue their program, and then the clones just they get damaged quite quickly. Then there is the clones that are controlled by the reptilian, those people that were working for this reptilian agenda. Sometimes the people want to rebel against them, so they are killed and replaced by a clone. So but most clones do not know they are clones. They just in the eyes, they don't have the spark of life. And then there's the clones of the Federation. Sometimes certain heads of state, world leaders, have been committing such great crimes against humanity. They are seized by the Galactic Federation to be standing in front of the Planetary Tribunal, the Solar Tribunal, or the Galactic Tribunals, and they are replaced by clones, so that there is not the world wonder why those heads of states have disappeared, vanished. So they've been replaced, a lot of this. But the clones do not know they're really clones, so they're just operating within the mental program, and they're just. But at the end, when the great event will come, all those clones that were those people that were abducted, but they were seized by the galactic police, will be just turned off, because you cannot turn off a human being. There is a soul that's growing and evolving with it, but the clone, you can just turn it off, and it's off, and there is no for this is just an illusion. But I was just asked to speak about the clones, but there is not all that many, but there is a lot of them in a powerful position of power within this world. For what we want is we are connected to a group of spirit guides that we made an agreement with, and those are the most powerful force we want to connect. The celestial beings that know each other. We know each other really well, and they are in service to us, and they can put in perspective things for us in our life that we do not have figured out. They can show us things about our I am presence. They're here to align us so there is a great deal of meaning in connecting to your guides and calling your guides and working with your guides. But you are your own savior. You are the expert on you. Other than that, your guides are here to assist you in finding this truth, finding this liberation. Speaking about Europe is there is a great deal of problem in Europe, because and more people will want this sovereignty, this populist movement, because this Europe that we've created is like the extension of the German. I love Germany. I have many German friends, but it's an extension of Germany. The euro was the Dutch mark, and all the politics are being commanded by Germany, and it's like this great big Germany that we live in, and people will say we're Italian, we're French, we're Spanish, we are not German. we have a different culture. So it's gonna have to be we're gonna have to review this whole process so that each country, Europe, can assist the countries in showing them their weakness and their strengths, and to assist them to lower their weakness and augment their strengths. But there is more respect for the whole cultural diversity, rather than standardizing the law. In France, we wanted to get rid of certain pesticide that kills the bees, but Europe says no, because Germany has bought Bayer, has bought Monsanto, and Monsanto is using it, and so there is a lot of Saint-Germain was saying about America. It's no longer a republic. It's a corporation. It's no longer by the people for the people. It's by the corporation for the corporation. That's why all this old government no longer works. So but there is a great deal of we want to unify, we want to become one, but it has to take time, and within the respect of each different culture has to be able to manage its own policies, as long as it does not hurt anybody else. I think it should be common sense. I think we do want to work in politics. If any one country, if France could do it, that would be nice to be the first country that recognize the existence of extraterrestrials and organize the first contact with the Syrian, Pleiadian, Arcturian alliance, to not to get technologies to overcome the other countries of the world and become dominant on the technological field, but to assist the planet and to share in this world. For there is all the governments of the world have been contacted by extraterrestrials. They all know that it's part of the secret défense, all those secrets that the government keeps, and some governments have making alliance with certain negative extraterrestrial in exchange for military technologies against genetic. The thing is like in the 50s there was those groups of beings that were clones. They were the Zeta Reticuli. I wrote a book about that. I'm going to try to diffuse this as much as possible to prepare humanity for understanding this whole great field of consciousness that is the galaxy. And the Zeta Reticuli, the Greys, there is positive faction and negative faction. But they used to live on a planet in the Zeta Reticulum galaxy constellation, and they had this nuclear war, and they had to go inside their planet, and they couldn't reproduce, so they were advanced technologically, so they moved into this reproductive cloning. But now it's all been cleansed, and so they're just looking for, and they find the Earth, and they saw that they can regenerate their own genetic pool by taking human genetics. And so the negative ones no longer are able to communicate, to work with. There's like too much karma has been created with that. They're like they were serving the reptilians anyway, the draconians, and so but the Greys are like terrified to be alone, because they're like they don't have they lost their soul by this emotional, the power of emotion. So but because of this program of the hybridization, they have been able to develop, to regenerate. It worked anyway. Everything is part of the plan of creation. So it's nothing to fear. It's just to know that anybody that's been used in those programs had soul agreement to be part of those programs. But in a sense, we want to be able to be honest and to recognize the existence of extraterrestrials, so we can organize the first contact and receive the technologies that will help us to clean up the planet, to use the free energy, to use all kinds of energies that will be non-military energy, that will be able to. But first we need to create peace. France, for instance, being French, I can speak for as a French person, we are involved in wars around the world, not in France, but around the world. There is a civil war in France as well, but there is we're involved in war, a corporatist war for uranium, for petroleum, for all kinds of things they're completely inappropriate. We have to stop making wars around the world, and at which point we will be able to make this first contact. But those are just my takes. And we do want to, for those pesticides, the pesticide that I was talking about is attacking the bees. The bees is very sacred. They come from Venus. They are managed by Helios and Vesta, the solar logos. And the bees is a collective field, a unified field of consciousness on a copper field. And so they're very powerful. So all those things are really good. They're good intellectual ideas, but they need to be integrated in order to be applied and work. So we need to continue to work on this integration, to let go of all those things that do not work and continue working with those things that work. I was talking about dolphins. Dolphins are aquatic beings that are, everybody knows that, but they actually, they come from higher planes, and they're in service to the planet, and so they're more advanced on the emotional, intellectual level than human beings. Yesterday I was visited by belugas. They're like white dolphins, quite interesting. But they are also avian beings. They are also insectoid beings. But if those beings would come to the Earth in physical form, the human beings would be terrified. When most of them are very kind and very loving, they're into the frequency of love, and so but they were all created by the spirit. Spirit is created all kinds of beings, great diversity of genetic. We just know this humanoid terrestrial form, but there are avians with humans with wings as well that protecting the planet right now. Also wanted to say that the domestic animals are also in assistance to the world. Cats and dogs are assisting humanity. They're very powerful. They have to be well treated. And there are some cats that are ascended, not all of them. There are some horses that are ascended as well. Um, this is basically the essence of what I wanted to say. So we do want to let go of the mind and to move into a feeling state, because, and yet the mind is essential to our growth. Everything was created from mind. The thing is to move from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. The thing in dual reality, we move from one to the other, and so we continue to, we want to stop the pendulum of duality. For spirit mind and mortal minds are very different. We want to have the ability to change our mind, to change our position, to stay in a circle. When we have a position that's clearly defined, we're creating an angle in spirit. And so when we move into a circle, we are free. We are no longer have a position in relationship to something. And to let our positive mindset be on autopilot, to be naturally positive in our thoughts. We want to learn to think with our heart and to feel with our mind. Those are training, and eventually we want to transcend the mind by turning to God. God is a transcendental power. For mind was created to reunify spirit and matter. For in paradise, spirit and matter are one, so there's the mind is perfectly integrated. But as the paradise was separated from the universe was separated from paradise, there is the mind. The more separation there is, the more the mind is needed to reconcile this unification process. We're moving towards this new moon in Taurus, so it's going to be a wonderful moon, and then it's going to be Wesak, the celebration of Wesak, the return of the Buddha on May 19th. So the highest wisdom for us today is the vessels. It's about exploration. It's about going on a journey. Life is a journey, and we're going to be able to travel, to explore. What we need to understand is Atlantis. Atlantis was a wonderful civilization. It was we had amazing power. We all lived there, and we want to reconnect to those memories, this integration process. Atlantis may merge again. What we need to do is the Amerindian. It's about being connected to the nature, to accept to live a simple life, to be in reverence of the natural world and be more connected. And the outcome will be living or traveling. So it's a lot of traveling will be coming. I know for me it's going to be I'm gonna have to travel all around the world to share those ideas and bring my art and do all those things. So I think I might have left a few notes, but I don't want to make it too long. Let me see. No, but here it's a portrait in Kore. It's a portrait of Persephone, the Lady of Light, the daughter of Ceres. She's like out in the world because she spends from mythology. She spends 6 months in the underworld with Hades, and then when it's winter, and then when the summer at spring, she comes back into the light of the sun. And so the eyes, I put the eyes in pink. It was really hard to do the eyes. And here it's a painting about the 7 families of spirit being. It's a painting of cosmology. Those are very subtle and complex. And I'm going to finish with a song I've sung many times, just a song about the dreams coming true. And once we make the dream come true, we want to understand the magic, the great, who's the magician behind the veil. We are the magician that pulls the strings within our life. The soul is the Wizard of Oz. That is we want to find that magic, the ability to be our soul, and so we can be fully creator. We be fully aware of all the ins and outs of our own life. Song goes like that. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream ready to come true. Someday I wish upon a star and wakes up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow, why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Follow the fellow, follows the dream, follow the rainbow over the stream, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. We hear he's a whiz of a whiz, if ever a whiz there was. If ever a whiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful thing he does. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Well, I thank you very much for sticking till the end. Let us be connected to all that which has meaning for us. Let's connect to God, to the source. God will always put in perspective, bring new meaning and new sense to our life. So let's tune to our source, to our heart. The heart knows, and so let us follow this voice together. I thank you very much for liking, sharing, subscribing, and I wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.